Hey guys, so today we are doing a spooky witch doctor look. It's funny, I went to Party City the other day and I actually saw a mask that looked pretty identical to this. Not saying Party City took my look, this is a very common look, but it was just interesting to see that. So first we're starting off by gluing down our eyebrows. I lost a bit of the footage, but basically you just comb your eyebrows hairs up, and then you put a lot of glue down to hold them down, you let it dry, apply another layer of glue, and let that dry. And right now I'm applying a dark concealer on top of it to hide the dark hairs, and I'm putting it all over the brows. And then I'm just taking a little bit more glue. If there's any hairs poking up, I'm laying them back down and taking a eyebrow brush and combing through it. And then I'm taking my normal colored concealer and I'm putting it on top of that dark concealer to hide it. Honestly, it doesn't matter how dark they look because we're putting white paint on top of it. Make sure you powder them down as well so it stays and doesn't move anywhere. Next, I'm outlining the skull mask. I'm just using a lip liner pencil. You can use any color, you can use any type of pencil that easily comes off in case you mess up a little bit. I'm applying some eyeshadow primer to my lids and underneath of my lids. And then I'm taking NYX Cosmetics black eyeshadow base and I am putting that on my upper lid. We're going for a more spooky look than more of a glam look. It's still kind of glam, but I wanted my eyes to be really dark considering a lot of skull looks you see, they have dark eyes because the skull has no eyeballs, so makes sense. And then after I put eyeshadow base down, I just like to tap it out with my finger because it is kind of greasy. I'm using the Morphe 35C palette, and I am taking this kind of reddish peach kind of color, and I'm applying it all around the eyes. This does not need to be perfect. I don't think a witch doctor would care too much if their eyeshadow was perfect. Then I took some black shadow and I just put it in my crease and I'm just bringing it all the way up and just blending it out. And then I put some black liner in my waterline and I am putting that on my upper waterline as well. Be careful. If your eyes are sensitive, you might not be able to do that. And then I'm just dragging out underneath of my eyes as well with the black shadow. Taking some white paint. So I started off with this white paint, but since I have a whole bunch of concealer up there on my brow area, it didn't work too well. So I ended up switching to some liquid makeup by Mehron. See, it kind of like clumped up right there. And this is when I was changing my mind. Yep, right there. Liquid Mehron makeup. So I just put a little bit down with a sponge and then I take a brush and I extend it out to all the areas that needs it. This stuff is really good. It just ends up cracking after a little while, so be careful. It does start flaking if you apply like a lot of it. And I did because I wanted a really opaque white color. Now I am sketching out my slit throat there and my little bone necklace. I don't know what made me want to do the slit throat. I just thought it would be kind of a cool added little thing to do. Now I'm painting the bones white. This was kind of time consuming. And now I'm starting to sketch out sketch out the teeth. This took me a couple of times to get. As you can see, I took some white paint back over the teeth that I had done. I did this maybe like 2 or 3 times before I showed this actual recording part right here. I just couldn't get the teeth how I wanted them to be, but I ended up getting it. And then I am outlining the skull mask. We basically want to make it look like this mask is sitting on top of her face. Outlining the eye area. I'm just using black paint to do that. And then I'm adding some cracks. Little details like this really make a look come together and look more realistic. So just add some random cracks all over the place and do some indentions where the teeth are. I started to paint in my nose, but I don't know why I stopped. Now I'm just adding some little black details to the necklace. Some little beads. And you can kind of see I am outlining the actual necklace part of it. And now I'm filling in my nose. Now I am taking black paint and I'm just creating one line underneath where there would be a shadow from the bones. I'm not outlining all of the bones. The black line just helps give her like a definite shadow kind of look. Now I'm taking Mehron Paradise paints in red, and I am filling in where I got decapitated at or my throat got slit at. And now I didn't show what I used for this, but I'm using the Makeup Forever Flash palette. These are really cool. They're just basically like grease paints. I wouldn't say they're cream paints. They are more grease feeling to me, like the kind you get from the Halloween store. But these ones are really nice and really pigmented. So basically, if you got your head cut off, you'd have a lot of bruising and a lot of decaying areas there. So I'm just starting off with a lighter color, and I'm applying it around kind of like a reddish color, and then I'm taking a darker brownish red, and then I'm taking yellow for some decaying kind of colors, and I'm blending them all out. I'm just using a Q-tip for this because grease paints do mess up brushes. And then I'm taking like a darker red color as well. Now I am making some stitches. I'm just taking black paint, and I'm creating some really big ones. I started off by doing X's, and then I did just some little lines. And add some color to where the stitches would be coming out of. Those would be more bruised areas than others. And now I'm taking a plum kind of berry color and a red color, and I'm just shading the neck, giving it some dimension. And also giving some shadow to the stitches. I'm just applying a taupe kind of grayish brown color underneath of them. And then I'm just outlining some areas in black where it'd be darker at. Like I said, this just gives her for some really good dimension and depth. Now I'm starting to shade the bone necklace. I'm starting off with a kind of like dark grayish brown color, and I'm applying that and I'm dragging it out a little bit more, and then I'm taking black and going right along that black line I painted. And I'm shading the necklace. I'm using that brown color as well for that. And I'm shading the bones a little bit. I'm using that same brown color, and I'm just shading them to make them look old. Taking Too Faced Born This Way foundation, I'm just filling in the areas where my skin is showing. And now I'm shading the skeleton mask, doing the same thing that we did with the bone necklace, using a grayish brown color first, and then going in closer right up along that black line we drew, and using black shadow to really create a realistic looking shadow. And also contouring my face a bit. Still gotta have contour. We don't have to, but I have to. And then just adding some shadows to the bone mask. It wouldn't be perfect in white. It'd have some colors going on there, dirty old colors. And there I am, adding the black to the shadows. And also make sure you do your eye sockets as well. Now I'm just adding some shadows all over the mask. Just give some definition. And shading the cracks as well. Just so they don't look so flat. Shading them helps a lot. Now I'm shading the eye sockets. Now I'm just taking some light gray color and I'm just kind of patting it around randomly just to give her an aged effect on this skull mask. And I'm just creating some designs now. I'm just using red paint and I created a line underneath of my mouth and some dots just to give her a little bit of an artistic feel on it. Now taking LA Splash Cosmetics Velvet Matte Liquid Lipstick. I am using the color Mistress, and I'm just filling in my lips as usual. Using Ben Nye's Fresh Scab Blood, I'm going to apply that where my head was decapitated at. And I'm just making some marks where the stitches are going into the skin at. You'll also want to shade those just a little bit. And then I'm going back over some areas with black paint just to help define. And creating some more details. Never too much details, but yeah, guys, that's basically it. A pretty spooky little witch doctor girl. I hope you enjoyed this look. Make sure you are subscribed so you can see all 31 tutorials this month. Thanks for watching.